Faith was never meant to return, and yet the trailer shows her standing in the shadows of time, looking straight at Claire with eyes filled with both love and sorrow. This single moment has shaken the Outlander world and left fans with one burning question: if Faith is truly alive, then nothing in Jamie and Claire's story will ever be the same again. In order to understand why Faith's return is such a shocking twist, we need to step back and look at everything that has led to this point. Outlander has always been a story about love that refuses to die, about bonds that survive war, and even time itself. From the very beginning, Claire Randall, a nurse from the 1940s, was pulled through the ancient stones at Craignaddon and found herself in 18th century Scotland. There, she met Jamie Fraser, the man who would change her life forever. Their love became the heart of the story, and every trial they faced only made their connection stronger. Over the years we have watched Jamie and Claire endure unspeakable pain. They fought in the Jacobite Rising, they lost friends, they built a home in the colonies, and they even saw their family torn apart by war. But through all of this, one loss has haunted Claire more than anything else: the loss of her first child, Faith. Faith was stillborn, and Claire carried the guilt of that tragedy for decades. Even when she held Brianna in her arms years later, the memory of Faith never left her. It was a wound that time travel could never heal. Season after season, the story of Outlander returned to this painful truth. Claire never got to see Faith grow, never got to hold her or hear her laugh. Jamie too carried the sorrow. Though he rarely spoke of it, he knew what that loss had done to Claire. He knew it was a scar that shaped her decisions and her fears. That is why the sudden return of Faith in the Season 8 trailer feels like an earthquake in the narrative. This is not just the reappearance of a lost child, this is the rewriting of destiny. The trailer gives us only flashes, but those flashes speak volumes. Claire stands frozen, her breath caught in her chest. Jamie's hand tightens on his sword, not in anger but in disbelief. A young woman with features strikingly familiar steps forward. The air around her seems charged, as if she has come from another time or another world. The stones have brought many travelers before, but never someone who was never meant to live. This is where the stakes rise higher than ever before. Because Outlander is not only about time travel, it is about the cost of bending fate. Every life saved, every choice made through the stones creates ripples across centuries. Faith's return is not simply a miracle, it is a question: what price will be paid for her presence? Who or what had to be sacrificed in order for Faith to walk among the living? As we move into the final chapter of Outlander, the appearance of Faith sets the stage for a story that is no longer only about survival in the past or freedom in the future. It is about destiny itself. And if destiny can be rewritten, then nothing in Jamie and Claire's world is safe. Not their love, not their family, not even time itself. Would you like me to continue and write the second section in the same detailed style so you can start building out all 7 sections one by one? The camera of the imagination shifts back to everything that has already been built in this story before. Faith's shocking return. Even though Season 8 is being called the final chapter, it does not exist in isolation. It rests on a foundation of battles, sacrifices, and impossible choices that Jamie and Claire have carried for decades. When we look at the trailer and see Faith appear, it is not just a new twist, it is the collision of the past with the present. Claire's journey began long before this moment. She was a woman torn between 2 worlds. She had a husband, Frank, in the 1940s, and yet destiny pulled her through the stones into the 18th century. There, she met Jamie Fraser, and the kind of love that bends history itself. Their lives became inseparable, even when the world tried to tear them apart. Together, they survived Caledon. They built a fragile peace in the American colonies. They raised children across centuries: Brianna, born in the 20th century, and then Roger, who became more than family through the bond of survival. Revolutionary War has now become the backdrop for everything Claire and Jamie face. Their love has endured war before, but now they find themselves standing in the middle of one of history's most defining moments. They must choose between loyalty to family and the dangers of taking sides in a conflict that could cost them everything. The weight of history presses on their shoulders, and they know every action might ripple forward into the future. Brianna and Roger carry a different burden. Their story is about living in 2 timelines at once. They know the safety of the modern world, but they are never truly free from the pull of the pastime, has never allowed them to simply choose. It drags them back and forth, testing their resolve and their loyalty to family. Brianna especially has felt the echo of her parents' choices. She understands the dangers of time travel, and she knows how easily the past can reach into the future. Through it all, there has been one shadow, one loss that both Jamie and Claire have never outrun: the memory of Faith, the child they never got. To hold the absence that shaped their marriage as much as any war or betrayal, this grief was a thread that connected every season. Faith's loss hardened Claire, but it also gave her the kind of strength that only sorrow can create. Jamie carried that pain in silence, yet every glance between them revealed that it was never truly buried. Now Season 8 asks a question that no one believed could be asked. What if the one loss that defined their journey was undone? What if destiny itself had been rewritten? Faith's presence in the trailer feels like a breaking of rules that govern both love and time. From here, everything changes: the stakes of war, the power of the stones, the meaning of family, all bend under the weight of this impossible return. This is why the setup matters so deeply. Without remembering what Jamie, Claire, Brianna, and Roger have endured, the audience cannot grasp the full shock of seeing Faith alive. The trailer is not just promising drama, it is promising a confrontation with fate itself. It reminds us that Outlander has always been about more than battles and romance. It has been about the line between choice and destiny, and now in the final season, that line has been crossed. The trailer wastes no time in striking the heart. It begins not with war drums or marching armies, but with silence, a silence that feels heavy and endless. Claire stands alone, her face pale, her eyes fixed on something unseen. The world around her fades until a figure steps from the shadows. A young woman, graceful yet uncertain, a presence that does not belong to the past or the future, but somewhere in between. It is Faith, the daughter who was never meant to breathe in this world. This moment is not filmed as a reunion, it is filmed as a revelation. The camera lingers on Claire's trembling lips, her desperate breath caught in her throat. Jamie's hand hovers close to his sword, not out of fear but from disbelief. He looks at the girl as though seeing a ghost made flesh. Faith's eyes hold both wonder and sadness, as if she knows she has crossed a boundary she was never meant to cross. The lighting in the trailer tells its own story. A faint glow surrounds her, hinting that time itself has opened a door to let her through her. The trailer gives us only fragments, but each frame is rich with suggestion. We see Claire touch her own chest, as if steadying a heart that might stop. Jamie steps forward slowly, like a man approaching a miracle or a curse. Then we catch a glimpse of Brianna and Roger. Their expressions are not joy, but confusion. Brianna whispers something we cannot hear, but the look in her eyes reveals recognition. A recognition of blood, of family, of something beyond explanation. The trailer knows that Faith's return cannot be shown as simple happiness. It must be layered with doubt, fear, and the sense that this is unnatural. Quick flashes of other scenes deepen the mystery. We see the stones at Krayna, done vibrating with energy far greater than before. Flames flicker as if history itself is burning. A voiceover whispers, "Destiny is not yours to command." These words do not confirm who speaks them, but they feel like a warning meant for Claire, a reminder that every time she bent fate to her will, there was a cost. The question now is whether Faith's presence is that cost, or only the beginning. Another fragment shows Faith standing beside Claire, looking outward toward a battlefield. The wind tears at their clothes, while cannons roar in the distance. This is not the image of a child safe in her mother's arms. This is the image of someone drawn into the conflict of history. Someone who will play a role, whether welcomed or not. The trailer does not show Faith speaking. Instead, it lets her silence hang heavy, as if her very existence says more than words ever could. The choice to reveal Faith in this way changes everything. A child once lost, now grown and returned, raises countless questions. Did the stones bring her? Is she a vision created by grief? Is she real flesh and blood, with the power to alter everything the Frasers have endured? The trailer does not answer. Instead, it leaves us suspended between wonder and dread, forcing us to imagine how her existence rewrites every sacrifice, every victory, every tear shed in the series so far by ending the reveal with a single shot of Claire's face, wet with tears yet lit with a small, fragile smile. The trailer does what Outlander has always done best. It makes the impossible feel both beautiful and dangerous. Faith's return is not just a moment for fans to gasp over. It is a promise that Season 8 will not play by the rules of past seasons. The return of Faith does not simply open an old wound, it reshapes every relationship that has defined Outlander since the beginning. For Claire, this is not a moment of pure joy, it is a storm of grief and hope colliding at once. Faith was the child she held for only a few minutes before letting go. The loss carved itself into her soul and shaped every choice she made afterward. Now faced with a grown daughter standing before her, she must reconcile to impossible truths the sorrow of the past. And the miracle of the present. Claire has always been the strongest when tested, but this is different. This is not survival against war or disease. This is survival against her own heart. Jamie's response carries a different weight. He is a man who has lost lands, kin, and freedom, yet nothing scarred him as deeply as losing Faith. For years, he accepted that loss as part of God's will. When he sees her again in the trailer, his silence speaks louder than words. Jamie Fraser is not easily shaken, but in this moment he looks like a man brought to his knees. The conflict inside him is not only about belief, but about purpose. If Faith lives, what does that mean for the years of grief he and Claire carried? Was it wasted? Was it necessary? Was their suffering part of some greater plan, or a cruel twist of fate for Brianna? Faith's return is not a memory reclaimed, but a shock to her very identity. Brianna grew up as an only child, torn between the worlds of her two fathers, Frank and Jamie. The knowledge that she now has a sister, one she was never meant to meet, threatens to unravel her understanding of family. In the trailer, we see her face flash with recognition, but also fear. Brianna has learned to carry the burden of time, travel, its dangers, and its gifts. Faith's presence reminds her that nothing is fixed, not even death. She may welcome her sister, but she will also question what price their family will pay this time. Roger's role in this emotional storm is more subtle but no less important. He has walked through fire for Brianna through centuries. For love, he knows the dangers of the stones better than most. He will see Faith not just as a sister-in-law, but as another thread tangled in the dangerous web of time. Roger understands that every traveler through the stones pays a price, and his protective instincts will sound the alarm. Where Brianna may lean toward hope, Roger will stand in caution, urging the family to ask why Faith has returned, and what consequences will follow. Even beyond the Frasers, Faith's presence touches others. Marsali, Fergus, Lord John, all who have shared in Jamie and Claire's story, may see her as proof that time is no longer stable. The emotional core of Outlander has always been the bond between characters tested by history. With Faith back, those bonds will be tested in ways they never imagined. It is no longer about surviving wars or crossing centuries. It is about surviving the rewriting of destiny itself. Impact of Faith's return ripples outward, but at its heart lies one truth. This is not simply a reunion, it is a reckoning. Claire and Jamie must face the daughter they lost. Brianna must embrace the sister she never knew. Roger must guard against forces he cannot control, and Faith herself must decide whether she is meant to be part of this family, or if her presence is the warning of something far greater. The emotional storm that follows her return promises to be the most powerful wave Outlander has ever unleashed. Faith's return is not just a family drama, it is a spark thrown into the dry grass of history. Season 8 is already set against the thunder of the Revolutionary War, and the Frasers have long known that this war is not like Culloden. It is not a single doomed battle, but a chain of conflicts that will stretch across years, swallowing villages and families. The trailer shows glimpses of cannon fire, lines of soldiers moving through smoke, and the clash of steel under banners of freedom. Jamie and Claire stand at the center of this storm, but now the appearance of Faith changes the stakes entirely. Though Revolutionary War is more than backdrop, it is destiny. Jamie has fought in wars before, but this one is different. Because he knows how it ends, America will rise, but the cost will be staggering. Outlander has always asked whether knowledge of the future is a blessing or a curse, and Season 8 raises that question louder than ever. If Faith has returned through the cracks of time, then the balance of history may already be broken. Perhaps the very outcome of the war could shift with her presence. What if her survival is the ripple that changes everything? In one trailer shot, we see Claire holding Faith's hand while the sounds of battle rage around them. This is not the image of a mother shielding her child from war. It is the image of fate daring. Claire to choose again. Does she save Faith no matter the cost? Does she step into history once more? Trying to bend it to her will each time, Claire has made that choice. It has demanded a sacrifice. Faith's return may demand the greatest one yet, Jamie. Stake in this is as heavy as his wife's. The war pulls at his loyalty as a Scot, a soldier, and a father. He knows that the side he chooses will shape the lives of his children and grandchildren. But if Faith stands before him alive, then his faith in destiny is shattered. How can he trust the path of history when the impossible has already walked into his arms? The war may no longer be about liberty versus loyalty. For Jamie, it may become a battle to preserve his family against forces greater than kings or armies. Brianna and Roger feel the stakes in their own way. The 20th century has given them safety, but also knowledge of how fragile time can be. Their children, Jemmy and Mandy, are the future, and yet now that future is uncertain. If Faith belongs to their present, it means the stones are rewriting their family tree, right? Before their eyes, Roger especially may question whether Faith's return signals the beginning of a collapse in the rules of time. Perhaps the barriers that once separated past, present, and future are crumbling. The stakes of Season 8 are not just about whether the Frasers survive the Revolutionary War. They're about whether history itself can survive the weight of their choices. The trailer whispers this truth in every flash of battle, in every tear on Claire's face. Faith is not simply a daughter returned. She is a symbol of destiny, cracking open. If she lives, then history is no longer certain. The war, the family, the very meaning of love across time hangs in the balance. Every Outlander season has carried its share of miracles. Claire's survival through centuries, Jamie's escape from certain death, the family's ability to reunite after oceans and wars. Yet Season 8 takes the boldest step of all by presenting a miracle that feels more like a curse. Faith's return looks beautiful. In the trailer, the glow of her presence, the tears on Claire's face, the shock in Jamie's eyes, but beneath the beauty lies a question that grows heavier with each passing frame. What if this return is not a gift, but a warning the stones have never been gentle? Time travel in Outlander has always demanded a cost. The buzzing energy, the splitting pain, the whispers in the air. These have never been signs of kindness. They are reminders that time resists being bent, and yet the Frasers have bent it again and again, saving lives, altering outcomes, protecting family, but with every act of defiance, the debt grows larger. Faith's appearance might be that debt finally being called in. The trailer hints at this danger with its careful framing. When Faith stands beside Claire, the world around them looks unstable. The edges of the image flicker as if the timeline itself is fraying. Another shot shows Jamie clutching Claire's arm, his face filled not with joy but dread, as if he senses something unnatural, something that does not belong. A soft voiceover follows a chilling line. Destiny was never meant to be rewritten. These words hang like a shadow over every glimpse of Faith. For Claire, the warning will be the hardest to face. She has lived her life as a healer, mending bodies, defying death. She will see Faith and believe love has conquered time. But Outlander has never allowed love to exist without consequence. Every reunion has carried loss. Every miracle has taken something away. If Faith's return is the promise of healing, then it may also be the promise of devastation. Question is, who or what will be sacrificed to keep her here? Jamie's instincts have always been to protect, but here he may find himself unable to fight the enemy before him. Time is not a man with a sword. It is not a king or a redcoat. It is something far greater. If Faith's return is unnatural, then Jamie must wrestle with a truth more frightening than any battle that he cannot protect Claire from this, nor can he protect Faith herself. The very act of her being alive might unravel the world around them. The trailer does not give us the answer, but it plants the seed of dread. Faith stands silent, but her silence feels heavy almost, knowing, as if she herself understands, that she should not be here, that she has crossed a boundary sealed for a reason. The miracle of her presence becomes darker with each frame. The audience is left to wonder, is she a blessing returned to give her parents closure? Or is she the herald of something catastrophic? The trailer dares us to believe in the impossible, while warning us to fear its season. 8 does not promise comfort. It promises a reckoning. If Faith has returned, then time itself has. Broken, and when time breaks, it does not heal easily. It shatters and drags everything with it. Faith's presence may be the greatest miracle the Frasers have ever known, but it may also be the fire that consumes them all. The trailer closes not with triumph, but with a question mark. The war drums fade, the glow of fire dies down, and we are left with the image of Faith standing between her parents, Claire's face streaked with tears, Jamie's hand trembling at his side, Brianna and Roger watching in silence. The screen cuts to black and leaves us with the feeling that something irreversible has begun. Season 8 does not give the comfort of answers. Instead, it gives us the ache of suspense. This is the genius of Outlander. It has always been a story about the balance between love and loss, between choice and destiny. Now, with Faith's return, that balance has shattered. The miracle of a daughter long lost cannot exist without a cost, in the final season seems ready to demand payment. The trailer whispers that every decision the Frasers make from here forward will test their faith, their loyalty, and their courage in ways no war ever has. The Revolutionary War may be raging outside, but the true battlefield lies within the family. The stakes are not only about liberty or survival, they are about the soul of the story itself. What does it mean if the past can be rewritten? What does it mean if death can be undone? Does love truly conquer time, or does time always demand the last word? These are the questions Season 8 dares to ask, and the trailer makes clear that the answers will not come easily. Faith. Silent gaze in the trailer becomes the symbol of everything Outlander has been about since the very beginning. She is love born from tragedy, hope born from despair, destiny born from defiance. And yet she may also be the warning that time has limits the Frasers have crossed one too many times. If she is here, then someone else may not be. If she breathes, then history itself may hold its breath, waiting to collapse. The final shot leaves the audience unsettled but hungry for more. We are reminded that Season 8 is the end of this epic saga, the last journey through love and war. And time itself, in the trailer, makes one promise clear: it will not end quietly. Outlander will end with choices that shake the foundation of everything we thought we knew. For the fans, the message is simple: prepare for heartbreak, prepare for wonder. Prepare for a finale that does not play by the rules of history or destiny. The return of Faith is not just a twist, it is the key that will unlock the end of Outlander, and whether she is salvation or destruction, one truth remains: Faith's return changes everything. Now, the question is yours to hold. What do you think? Faith's presence truly means, is she the miracle the Frasers deserve, or the warning they cannot ignore? Share your theories, because as the final chapter begins, one thing is certain: Outlander Season 8 will leave no heart untouched and no destiny unbroken.